If you grew up watching wrestling in the late 80s and early 90s, you remember this era right here. WWF was changing. The Hulk Hogan era was fading. New stars were trying to rise. And Wrestlemania 9 was supposed to feel like the beginning of a new generation. Instead, it became one of the strangest WrestleManias ever. First off, the look of Wrestlemania 9 was completely different. This show took place at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Everything had a Roman Empire theme. Togas, chariots, fake senators. Even the commentators looked like they just walked out of ancient Rome. And look, I'll give them credit for trying something unique. Visually, it stood out. But at the same time, the whole thing felt more like a giant costume party than the biggest wrestling event of the year. And because it was outdoors in the daytime, it didn't even feel like a normal WrestleMania. The atmosphere was weird from the beginning. Now let's talk about the actual wrestling. And honestly, this is where the problems really start. There weren't many great matches on this card. Nothing truly legendary. Nothing fans still go back and watch today outside of the controversy. Shawn Michaels versus Tatanka. This was actually one of the better matches on the show. You had Shawn Michaels still early in his singles run. Tatanka was undefeated at the time and super popular with the crowd. The match itself was decent, but the finish, count out. And that became a theme all night. Bad finishes, weak payoffs, nothing really satisfying. The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. This match is remembered for one reason, because it was weird. Giant Gonzalez looked like a giant airbrushed action figure, and the match itself, terrible, slow, awkward, no chemistry. And then it ends in disqualification. So not only was the match bad, it didn't even have a real finish. The only important thing here is that Undertaker's streak continued. That's it. But now this match matters because of what happens later. Hulk Hogan teams with Brutus Beefcake against Money Inc. Crowd loved Hogan, of course. But at this point, Hogan wasn't really supposed to be the main guy anymore. WWF was trying to transition toward Bret Hart. At least, that was the idea. Now, this was supposed to be the real story of Wrestlemania 9. Bret Hart defending the WWF Championship against Yokozuna. And honestly, the match did its job. Yokozuna felt dangerous. Bret felt like the underdog fighting champion. Then Mr. Fuji gets involved, salt to the eyes. Yokozuna wins the WWF Championship. And honestly, that could have worked. Bret loses unfairly. Yokozuna becomes a monster heel. You build toward Bret getting revenge later. Simple, logical, good storytelling. But then, everything falls apart. After Bret loses, Hulk Hogan comes down to check on him. Fine, no problem there. Then Mr. Fuji challenges Hogan on the spot, and Hogan, still in street clothes, basically accepts. One leg drop later, Hulk Hogan is WWF champion. Just like that. The crowd popped in the moment because Hogan was Hogan. But long term, this decision absolutely crushed the ending of the show. Because think about it. You spent months building Bret Hart as the new face of the company. Then Yokozuna beats him. Then Hogan walks in and takes the belt immediately. It made Bret look weak, it made Yokozuna look weak, and it made the whole main event feel pointless. This is one of the biggest examples of WWF refusing to fully move on from Hulk Hogan. Why fans still hate this show? And this is why Wrestlemania 9 still ranks near the bottom for so many people. Not because it was boring, because it was frustrating. The booking made no sense, the finishes were weak, the matches weren't memorable, and the ending overshadowed everything else. When fans think about Wrestlemania 9, they don't think about great wrestling. They think about Hogan randomly winning the title in 20 seconds. That's the legacy of this show. Now I will say this, Wrestlemania 9 is memorable. The visuals were unique, the setting was different, and the controversy still gets people talking today. But memorable doesn't always mean good. And for me, this is still the weakest Wrestlemania from the first 10. Not because it had no talent, but because the booking completely failed the show. But now, I want to hear from y'all. Was Wrestlemania 9 really that bad? Or do fans judge it too harshly because of the Hogan ending? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if y'all want more classic wrestling content like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and share.